Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Football Manager 2018, the beta with Zebu Nation. And here we are back again. FC Dallas, Major League Soccer, all that stuff. But I got a bit of a problem. I got an issue here. I should be making more videos of different video games. I got other games to play, I got other things to do. I should be making dinner right now, all kinds of things. But you know what? All I want to do is play Football Manager, and that's a problem. So I think what's going to happen is that I'm just going to have a Football Manager takeover of my channel, at least for the next week. So I think, I'm going to be able to release a couple of other videos that I've already got in the vault, and maybe I'll be able to record something here and there. But for the most part, for the next week, you should probably just expect Football Manager videos from me. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got to say. That's my admission for the week. Okay, so in light of that, let's move on here. Let's get to the Champions League, which is what this video is going to be all about. And so for MLS Corner, we're going to talk about the Champions League. And here it is, the North American Champions League. What is the North American Champions League? Well, if you're familiar at all with Champions League, it's pretty much what it is. It's all the champions from around North America. They get together and they have a big tournament to decide who is the best on the continent. And there's been some changes in the tournament for this season and the seasons going forward. Now, previously they had a group stage, which was very much like the Olympics. You'd have a group A, B, C, D, all that kind of stuff. And it would have it'd have three teams in it. And it would usually be one strong favorite and a couple of weaker teams. And I'm going to be honest with you, the weaker teams almost never won the group stage. It was the same teams year after year winning the group stages and advancing to the next stage of the tournament. So, in their wisdom, the Champions League of North America has decided to get rid of the group stage. Now, I'm not happy about this because I actually like the group stage. I like the fact that I got a couple of games mid-season, like 6 to 8 games, I think it was. Anyway, it was several games mid-season against weaker teams that I could play my reserves, I could play my young guys, and I could get them experience and get them playing time so that they would be match fit later in the season. But now we're not going to get to do that because the new format of the Champions League in North America is that they're going to have something called the CONCACAF League that takes place beforehand. And what the CONCACAF League is, it's all of those smaller teams that never won the group stage. They're going to get their own little tournament to determine the winner amongst them. And that one winner gets to move on into the Champions League proper, which will have in it 4 Mexican teams, 4 teams from the United States, 1 team from Canada, and then the champions from some of the other major countries in Central America, such as Costa Rica, Honduras, Panama, El Salvador, Nicaragua. All those, slightly larger countries will have their champion, their one champion, get represented in this league, in the Champions League. And then we'll also have one team from all the smaller, some of the second place winners from some of these divisions and, from some of the really tiny nations like Trinidad and places like that will have at least one shot to get into the Champions League. If they have a particularly strong team that year who manages to win the CONCACAF League, then maybe they'll have a shot in the Champions League. But on a typical year, a team like that is just going to lose all of its games in the group stage and go home disappointed. So now they at least get a chance to play against some teams that are more on their own level and get to play in their own little tournament. Is it more fair? I don't know. But we've got several years of data to show that those teams just never went very far in the Champions League as it was. So the other thing that restructuring did, is it made the Champions League happen a little earlier in the year, and it looks like we're going to be able to play the entire Champions League run in one season. So we're not going to have to split the Champions League amongst 2 seasons like we had to in previous years for MLS. That's how it relates to MLS. Is in the MLS, you would play the group stage during the last half of one year, and then you would play the quarterfinals and semifinals and all of that stuff the next year. So now we're just getting rid of the group stage. We're going straight into the final group of 16. And here it is. So we have drawn Real Esteli Football Club. Let's take a look. They are a Nicaraguan Premier Division team, 1 star. So they are not necessarily on our level. Take a look at their history. They've got 16 Premier Division championships. That seems pretty good. Founded in 1960, Real Esteli Football Club. Let's see, they play their home games at Estadio, Independencia, so Independent Stadium, I suppose. They possess adequate training facilities, adequate youth facilities, average coaching facilities. The club is affectionately known as El Tren de Norte. El Tren de Norte. And retains a fierce rivalry with Darien FC. I butchered those names. I didn't read those names beforehand. Usually I like to read these names beforehand and try to come up with some kind of pronunciation, but that's not happening. Anyway, let's take a look competitions-wise. So, yeah. They appear to be the best team in Nicaragua. They have won the competition several years in a row. In fact, it looks like they've done the double several years in a row. In 2011, 2012, they won 2 different championships those years. So this is a strong team from Nicaragua, but compared to us, maybe they aren't that strong. Let's take a look at their squad registration. So this is what I was talking about earlier. Looks like they've got 3 5-star players. That seems not possible, but it could be. This guy is valued at $28,000. Doesn't seem like a 5-star player to me. So I think he's just maybe 5 stars in relation to the rest of his team, which are scrubs. Players who are not real. Unfortunately, we know almost nothing about this team. So we're going in kind of blind. We're just going in based on the ratings. Take a drink of tea there. Just going in based on the ratings, saying they're a 1-star team, we're a 3-star team. We should probably beat them. So as you can see, our fans are confident of a big win, even though we have to travel some 1,500 miles to play in this first leg of the match. But we're expected to win comfortably, so that shouldn't be a problem. Pre-match, here we are from the Estadio Independencia. Anyway, 5 journalists have gathered to ask us questions. Here's Craig Perez from the American Soccer Messenger, an experienced and indifferent journalist. You are playing a real minnow in the Champions League. Don't matches like this add to the excitement and unpredictability of the competition? Absolutely, occasions like this is what soccer is all about. With Leonardo departing, many have suggested that you may have had opportunities. You may hand. Let's read. How about that? There are words in front of you. You can use your eyes to read these words. Okay, with Leonardo departing, who was one of our central defenders last season, many have suggested that you may hand more opportunities to some of the club's younger players, such as Jose Aja. Is that something you are likely to do? Absolutely. This is something I'd like to do. Players good enough, then age doesn't matter. Is it an advantage to play away on the first match? Sure, I guess you get the away goals, and then you know, like, how many away goals you need to not give up, I guess. It means the deciding match will be played in front of our own fans. Sure, that's fine. How pleased are you with Max Urruti has signed a new contract? I am very pleased with that. I'm pleased that he wants to be here and be part of this success. Tobias Kolner, devious and dislike. From goal.com. Not familiar with that. You may have been drawn away in the first match of the series against an opponent who's much weaker than yourself. You must be confident ahead of this. Sure, training has been excellent. Blah, blah. All right, there we go. Champions League special edition for all the newspapers and websites out there. Let's go. Let's take a look at this. So the fact that we no longer have to play in these opening rounds, this group stage, I think that means that now we'll get to play in the US Cup every season, because it seemed like, I didn't really research this, but it seemed like whenever you played in a Champions League, you didn't necessarily play in the US Cup that same season that you played in the first round of the Champions League. So maybe now we can get some of our players playing time in the North American or the US Cup. But you can't really play too many of your youngsters in those games because they're actually pretty good. All right, so we still got a bunch of our emails to get through. I thought we were a little closer to the game. I think next episode I'm going to look at the tactics and strategy that I use. But for now, we're just going to focus on the Champions League. And there's our pre-match technical briefing. Handle the briefing. I don't really know what to do with these briefings. I've already got my team set up prior to this. So I do a team talk and I say, well, this is the formation we're using. There you go. Talk to team. We're going to use do I need to remind them? So I just sort of hand the rest over to my assistant and then end the meeting. I don't know if that's all you're supposed to do, but that's really all I do, and it seems to work. Sometimes I'll use it to sort of look around and check my tactic. If I haven't checked it already, it's kind of a reminder. But a lot of times I'll end up changing my tactic on game day anyway. Maybe you're not supposed to do that. Maybe changing your tactic on game day will actually cause your team to perform worse. I don't know. Is that a question that Football Manager would answer? Do they know the answer? Do they know how it affects? I hope they do. I hope they realize this is how we programmed it, and it's not just sort of a bunch of spaghetti programming where they think, well, maybe it'll affect it, maybe not. I would hope that would be something they purposefully programmed in there, and not just let some spaghetti code that they don't understand take care of it. Some legacy code from 1998 that they've been recycling, and they don't the guy who programmed it has retired or moved on somewhere else, and they just plug it in. You never know how this development cycle works. So I am excited about the Champions League. I just don't like it happening this early in the season. It's too soon. We barely know this team. We haven't even been able to bring in any of our signees, guys we go out and we transfer list, or we get our transfer fees that we pay and we bring these guys in, but none of them are going to be here for the Champions League. None of them are even registered. Now, if we make it past this round, maybe we can re-register them later. But that's not a sure thing. So here we are. Finally, we can check out our team, and it's pretty much the team you would expect. The same team from the last game. Gonzalez in goal, Acosta, Hollingshead on the outside at the fullback positions, Hedges and Zimmerman central defense, Ulloa at defensive midfielder, Greza and Diaz in the central midfield, and then on the wings we've got Weigl and Barrios, with our striker is Maximum Urruti. And on the bench, pretty much the same sort of folks that you would expect. Squad numbers need to be given to 3 players. Chala needs a number. So Zamora wants to be number 10. I mean, it's good to want things, I suppose. But Mauro Diaz is our number 10. Do we give a number 9 to a reserve guy? I mean, we're probably not going to... Well, if we go out and we sign a big striker, then maybe we'll give him number 9. Like in mid-season in the summer transfer window, we got some space that we can maybe sign some guys. So I think normally I'd like to give a guy like this a number in the 20s, 20, 21, 22, but those numbers are all used up. So I guess I'll give him a winger number of 17 or a midfield number, 13 or 14, 30 maybe? No, 30 is what I use for fullbacks. 40? Sure, I'll give him 40. How about that? How you like them apples? Ja'Cory Hayes, one of our midfielders, you look like a number 13. Chala, one of our wingers, you look like a number 17. So there you go. Submit those numbers. I got my own numbering system. I don't care about your traditional football numbering system. Makes no sense. Well, that makes perfect sense, but I never bothered to learn it. How about that? I like them apples. All right. So here's the lineup. Mentioned before, they're going with the old 4-4-2. That's fine. Let's go in the dressing room. Team talks. If we play our game, we'll win. You're very capable of that. Okay, let's go. Do you think your side will find motivation a problem? Better not. I don't think it will be a problem. My players work hard and train professionally. So here's their stadium, kind of a small stadium, but they got some nice advertisements there. Bose speakers. Here we are. We are in the away whites. They got their nice red stripes. Looking snazzy there. Looking like candy stripers. Okay, so there's the first boring highlight of the game. Let's get on with this. Now, we should dominate this match. That's what all the betting lines say. That's what all the fans are expecting. So hopefully we can do that. Get some goals. Nice steal there by Diaz to Arudi. Arudi around his man. Doesn't score. Looks like they've got one of their central defenders dropping way back. Like in a stopper position maybe. So that's an interesting change. Acosta sends a corner in, but there's nobody there, a near corner. There should be a central defender heading to that near post. Apparently not. All right, here's another highlight on the far side. A throw-in for Real Esteli. They're going to boot it downfield. Looks like they've got maybe a control game going on. Or maybe they're playing defensively even. It's hard to tell. Here's Martinez with a shot. They got through our defense a little easy there. I didn't like that. But Gonzalez is up to the task. Look at that big old soccer ball. All right, here's a corner kick on the near side. Quijano, possibly how you pronounce that name with the corner. Looks like they're going to win a throw-in on the far side. So these highlights have not quite been what I want. There's only 6 minutes down. But I'm really looking to make a statement here. We're using all of our starters. If we get a good lead here, we can play some of our other players. I don't think we'll play a fully rotated side. You know, this is the round of 16. These guys are multiple-time champions in their country, so I don't think we can afford to really take them lightly. There's a nice steal from Gruezo to Barrios. He's kind of hemmed in there. He's got 3 players tracking his movements. He loses it to Herrera. They got an Acosta of their own. There's our Acosta getting it to Gruezo. He gets it forward to Weigl. Weigl forward to Barrios, but he can't win it. It goes out wide to Acosta, our fullback on the attack. Gruezo to Diaz. Can Diaz get it back outside wide? No, he gets it to Arudi to Barrios with a shot. Just wide. So we're getting some chances, only, 10 minutes in. But they're not really good chances. They're not coming from up close. They're not, some real nice crosses or anything like that. So this team is playing some pretty solid defense against us. Their problem right now seems to be possession. They're not keeping possession of the ball very well. Barrios drops it back to Diaz in Esteli territory. Ulloa has it now to Diaz. We should be able to control the midfield against these guys. They don't look like they're pressuring us at all. There's Acosta with the cross to a Rudy, who scores nicely. All right. The goalkeeper is like, what's up with that defense, boys? He was not happy with that. I'm just happy nobody went off sides, honestly. I was kind of shocked by how easily that goal happened. Otherwise, I might have been a little bit more excited. But here's Acosta all by himself on the outside. And Rudy takes his time, plants it in the back of the net. So that's our guy. That's our goal scorer. I'm predicting if he stays healthy, he's scoring at least 20 goals this season. He better, because he's our only option. Here's another highlight throw in on the far side. Another cross to Rudy. Rudy gets tackled in the box. No call. Greza has it now, gets the rebound up to Diaz. Diaz going forward, looking to Rudy. There's his second. All right, so this is what we wanted. We wanted to get out on these boys quick. Rudy doing his tumbling act. Good job. We wanted to get out on these boys quick, put them away early, and you know, make it a party for us. Make it you know, no problem when we go back to FC Dallas. We'll just be playing some of our youngsters, not all of our youngsters, of course. We'll play some of our youngsters and you know, take it easy. Here's the kickoff by Esteli. Herrera has it at midfield. Sends it forward, intercepted again with possession. These guys, they gotta work on their possession. I thought maybe they were running a possession style, but this is not the case. Graze, maybe they're running defensive, I think is probably what they're running, because they're definitely not coming forward and pressuring us like they're going to counterattack. Costa out wide to Diaz. Diaz pumps it forward. Rudy has it again, looking for a hat trick. Not a great shot there, but if they keep letting him camp out in front of that goal, they're going to have a bad time of things. And we're going to have a lot of highlights to talk about. 20 minutes down. Diaz has it now. Jumps over one man out wide to Weigl. Back to Acosta. We're just sort of cramming the box with attackers right now. And hopefully that's what this team can do. I think we got some skill. I think we can go on the attack a little bit more this season. I'm not real happy with our depth this season. I'm glad we added all those rookies from the Super Draft. That's going to help out our depth a lot, so we don't have to, rely on 17-year-olds anymore. We can rely on 21-year-olds, which is a little better, not tremendously better, but they're going to be a little bit more physically able to stand up to the rigors of MLS soccer, I think. When you play a lot of teenagers in your lineup, you got to be really careful with those guys, because they're going up against grown men, and they're just not physically ready for those kind of rigors. There's Weigl on the wrong side of the field, just sort of chips it out of bounds for a goal kick. So now we'll have those guys, but if some of our key players go down, if some of our star players, like Max Arudi is our big point of failure, if he goes down, we got issues. But also our central defense, we got 3 quality guys there. But if one of those 3 goes down, if 2 of them go down, we're in trouble. Weigl almost gets a goal. Acosta tries to keep it in, but he just heads it out, and Acosta goes down. I'm not happy about Acosta going down either. That's no good, so let's get him out of there. Make a substitution. Thank you. 57%. It doesn't say he's injured, but just suddenly shooting down to 57% is no good. So we're going to bring Chala on. Chala? I had figured out in my mind how I wanted to pronounce that name, but now I can't remember how. So it's Chala for now. We're going to bring him in. He was also our reserve at left wing, so we're going to have to, hopefully, nothing happens at left wing. Barrios wins that 50-50 ball, and then he sort of messes it up. But Hollingshead is there to pick up his trash. Here's Diaz. Sends it forward to Arudi, looking for the hat trick. Not a great shot. He's not real committed with these shots. He's just sort of chipping them towards the goal and hoping they're going to go in, I guess. I don't know. He's not really turning around and booting it, making a concerted effort to win. To score. I mean, there's a more concerted effort. Grazo takes a nice shot, but their goalkeeper is up to the challenge. Zimmerman with a rough tackle. We are kind of leaving our central defenders back there by themselves. We're sending our fullbacks forward. And that's kind of the system I want to use. Like I said, next video I think we'll go over this tactics system a little bit. It's not like groundbreaking or anything. Oh, there's almost a header for a goal. It's not groundbreaking or anything. We've used this system in the past. But, you know, a lot of people are doing tactics videos these days, so I'll jump on the bandwagon and show a tactics video. I'm not going to do the asymmetrical tactics. I'm not keen on those. I've seen, you know, some people have a lot of success with asymmetric tactics. And I think more people are going to use them this year because they have that feedback now. When you look at your tactics screen, you can see like the little red boxes and things like that say, hey, Barrios, what was that? That was terrible. You can see, hey, you got some issues here. You don't have players attacking in this spot or whatever it is. And sort of the simplest way to do, rather than messing with your roles and responsibilities, you can just say, hey, I'll just plop a guy in that red box. And, you know, it might make your tactic look funky, but at least it covers up those areas. So I can see why people can do that. I can see more people doing it just because they have that feedback now. And that's probably a good thing. That's probably a good change that Sports Interactive made for this version of FM. Anytime you can show people more information in such an easy way, I think it's very good. All right, so that's halftime. We're up 2-0, no problems. We got one slight injury to deal with. Now Costa, he better not be injured for very long. It didn't look like he was injured. They didn't say he was injured. You know, is there anything in our updates? No. This is like score updates. How about analysis? What's in our analysis? Anything interesting? Team analysis. Overview. There's the heat map. Yeah, so they're playing defense. Look at that. They're not even like counterattacking. They're just sitting back. We're possessing the ball forward, so that's, you know, pretty much what we expected. Let's see. They've already saved 6 shots. Jesse Gonzalez, I don't think, has saved any. They've had 2 shots, 1 shot on target. So Jesse Gonzalez has 1 save in there, I suppose. Hedges with 6 interceptions, so we're looking good. All right, let's get out of here. Let's get to our team talk. We'll let the assistant screw it up, apparently. This is a great opportunity to show the experts they have been right to back you up. The players seem confused and demotivated. Okay. Don't like to see that. Come on, assistant coach. I did just hire a new assistant coach because my previous assistant coach wasn't that good. Most of my coaches aren't very good. I'm going to be honest with you. And I've tried to do things sort of the more realistic way by going out there and grabbing only people who apply for the job, rather than just going out searching the world and finding, random coaches from Argentina and bringing them up saying, oh, you must be good at defense. Even though there's probably almost no way I would have ever been able to find that out in real life unless I had, somebody who knew that guy or knew of the league or whatever and was, had some contacts in the league, because it's very hard to find out about coaches. Here's Diaz with a free kick just outside the box. No good. Free kicks are not our strength. It'd be nice to bring in some guys who could free kick a little better. Penalty kicks, corner kicks, all those kind of specialty teams. It's not really our strength. I wouldn't say we got a weakness in those areas, but I also would definitely not say we have a strength. Here's Hollingshead with a throw into a Rudy. 62 minutes gone already. Are there any subs we should make? We could bring in some of our youngsters. Like, I know Arudi is on a hat trick, but maybe we want to bring him out. I think we should take out Barrios. See, what I don't know about Maximiliano Arudi is how driven is this guy? Is he the kind of guy who's going to be upset if you take him out on the verge of a hat trick or not? I don't know. I don't know that I want to find out. So there's Weigl. Maybe if he gets his hat trick, we'll take him out. That could be a good compromise right there. But in the meantime, we'll take out Barrios. Bring in one of those aforementioned 17-year-olds who played quite a bit last season. There's a Rudy chipping it toward Weigl. Can't get the header on the ball. Grazo, though, recovers. Again, another lazy shot towards goal. It's like these guys, feel bad and they don't want to score any more goals. There's frickin' what I was worried about. Rudy gets injured in a freaking meaningless, freaking stinky game. Oh, that could be bad. That could be bad. If that's a season-ending injury, we're going to have some interesting times. Going to have some real interesting times in the transfer market, I'll tell you that. All right, so we'll confirm that sub. So maybe that's good. Maybe that'll breathe a little excitement into this save and say, look, now we've lost our number one striker. Now what do we do with it? What kind of injury does he got here? Potential foot injury, so he could have everything from a stubbed toe to like a broken foot. Maybe a torn tendon or something in his ankle, or who knows what the future holds. It was bad enough for him to have to leave the game. So this is pretty much the worst scenario possible. We should have taken him out. Dang it. Sometimes you got to be the heartless coach and say, look, I know you're on the verge of a hat trick, but you're too indispensable. I didn't check the medicals. I didn't check the medical page before we started this game. I should have done that. I did that a lot last season and it helped out a bunch. But I didn't do it for this game, and I should have. I took this game for granted. There's Reynolds. The youngster, the young academy player, almost scored. He appears to be the guy who's going to end up with the most potential from our academy. Some of those other guys who look like they were going to have as much potential as Reynolds, their potential has dropped. The more I play those guys, the more my scouts and my coaches get a look at them, the more they say, well, okay, these guys, maybe they aren't as talented as we thought they were. All right, we're 93 minutes in. This is good. This is good. Just get this game over with 2-0. We'll be okay. Reynolds going to boot one. Now, we did originally have a friendly in between these two games, but I decided to cancel that just in case something like this happened. So there we go. Real Esteli, full time. That's fine. Dressing room. We're not going to leave this up to our assistant coach, obviously. Good win, boys. And then pep talk. See you later. Okay. So it's a good win. We obviously dominated, our ratings. Not as good as they could have been. Some 6.5s out there for Weigl. No, that was Reynolds. 6.4 for Chala, so that's no good. So our young players didn't play too good. Leave the match. Get out of here. But, of course, our veterans dominated, and that was fine. So let's take a look. Max Arudi, 3 to 4 weeks. All right. That's okay. That's enough to get past this particular problem. Let's take a look at our schedule. So, Champions League first leg. Do we know, let's see, schedule. All right, so first leg, no. So we're going to be without him for the quarterfinals. We're going to be without Max Arudi for the Champions League, unfortunately. It's no good. And we can't bring anybody in, so we're stuck. We're going to have to figure out some other ways to score goals. It's no good. We're going to leave that to the physio. No way we're risking him for the whole season. But this is a clear problem with our roster. So we got to go out there and we got to find another reserve striker to alleviate this kind of issue. Yeah. Bad news. Bad news. All right. So we're going to come back with the next leg of the Champions League. We're going to talk about our tactics. We're going to talk about what we're going to do without Max Cerruti for the next couple of weeks. So until then, we're going to make this a little bit of a shorter episode, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.